This is the first large-scale, well, it's really the first restoration event that the Nova Scotia Nature Trust has ever undertaken, and this one in particular is very large-scale, planting 11,000 trees across 10 acres.
There are some over there already, so essentially what we'll be doing is planting in this section here first.
The site where we had our restoration project is called Hardwood Hill. Within this property there was a 5-hectare field that had been farmed and used agriculturally for at least 100 years, and it was predominantly planted with corn.
So to help support the biodiversity that exists in the area, we decided to restore the property back to its original state, which was a forested property. When we first acquired the land, the health of the soil was poor. After so long with nothing but corn growing on the property, it depletes it of nitrogen.
I'll point out the black cherries to you,
but they're not coming into this area.
They're not. No. They're going to be one of the last trees planted, and they're going to be over essentially where we set up over there. I'll point them out to you, and we can even move them out of the way.
So we wanted to figure out how we could restore this land. So our first kind of action that we did was plant a nitrogen fixing crop.
One of the key things will be making sure that the soil is somewhat secure around it. You don't want to cause too much compaction in the soil, but you do want to make sure that once you put the tree in the ground, the soil is fairly firm.
It's important to plant trees in areas like this because by converting it back to forest, we're able to bring back nature to where it deserves to be, to where it belongs. We were really fortunate to have a partner who was able to collect all of the seeds right from the property or adjacent. So they're all locally sourced. They were grown in the greenhouse only about an hour away, and everything was delivered to us that day. We primarily used red oak, we had red maple, there were willows, and even alders. Why alders? They're not often one tree that would be used in planting situations, but they are, again, representative of the area, and they support the biodiversity that we're hoping to bring back to this particular parcel. This is definitely an exciting project for us at the Nature Trust. The Nova Scotia Nature Trust is a land trust, and what that means is that we're a non-profit, non-government organization that acquires land to protect it in perpetuity. It's important that we do the work that we do to protect Nova Scotia's natural legacy. Over 85% of Nova Scotia is privately owned, and that makes it challenging to conduct some of our conservation work, and for other partners to conduct conservation work. Volunteers play a massive role in the work of the Nova Scotia Nature Trust. Really, we couldn't do our work without them.
The sugar maple, do a quick demo here. This vegetation can provide some protection in the winter, so that's beneficial, but it will be a little trickier to plant in.
The volunteers that came to help us out were so very important to come and help us.
Not bad. Okay, so there is soil. Usually with the planting shovels, it's kind of a nice one in and out, but we do have quite a bit of root here.
We're a small organization with less than 15 employees, but we have over 170 properties all across the province, from the Tuskets way up to Cape Breton and everything in between. We had about 15 volunteers who came out for the weekend, and planting those 11,000 trees over 10 acres simply wouldn't have been possible without their help. It was a huge undertaking, and many hands make light work, and that's certainly the case in this situation.
My name is Renee Lyons, and I think I did tree planting about 30 years ago. I was a bit apprehensive to come, but it's really been fantastic. I was just thinking about how glad I am that I actually came.
My name's Dave Alder, and I've never tree planted before. I'm a volunteer with Nature Trust, but I've always been impressed with the staff. They're knowledgeable and enthusiastic, and it's been fun. Trees are important. They're the lungs of the earth. We need them.
We need to make sure that we monitor the trees. Since we planted in the fall, it is an ideal time for planting, but trees can die over the winter for a number of reasons. So our next steps include checking up on the property in the spring and looking at some of the permanent sample plots that we've created. We've created these plots so that we can monitor over years to ensure the survival of the trees and the success of the project.